Alright, I got my PAP M90 back from repair, and there's some good and there's some bad. First of all, I'll explain why it looks the way it does. I have replaced the polymer furniture with the furniture that was off of my NPAP. This is some of the stuff that came with it. So I got rid of that, put my wood furniture on for the NPAP. I replaced the standard canted, I've got canted on my mind because that was the problem with the rifle, slant muzzle brake with the AK-74 style muzzle brake. I replaced the Century International Arms plastic stock with the original M70 NPAP wood stock that came with my NPAP, obviously, the one that I shaved down. So that explains why it looks as it looks now. Alright, next I'll go over some of the paperwork. This is what I've got. This came from Plant 1, Century, Vermont, plant code 01. Report was dated 3/21/16, 12:51. Canted front sight, trunnion, rear sight / gas adjustment settings don't line up. So that's the information that I provided with them. RAN action code 02, repair and reship. Customer return, rifle ZASTAVA PAP M90 NP. So repair and reship. Okay, so this is some additional paperwork that I got back. Quality control disposition posting report. Plant 01, Century, Vermont, plant code 01. Date 3/25/16. Let's see here, rifles ZASTAVA PAP M90, reason, other details, status completed, disposition posting details. So, approved by, okay, so apparently that individual approved the actions. Here we go. So, report, Century Arms Incorporated, last updated 3/25/16. All firearms undergo a complete visual inspection. This includes, but not limited to, the following items. Please note, if a box is checked, service was performed. In this case, it looks like they X'd the boxes not checked. Within headspace, gas system function check, mag catch fit check, polish chamber, ejector function check, realign sights, bolt and carrier fit and function polish. I have a problem with that, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So it says bolt and carrier fit function polish. Test fire 30 rounds. Test fired with hot shot. Clean firearm. Fire control group. Last updated. Gunsmith comments. Adjusted sights plural. Replace gas tube. Okay, so that's all the paperwork that was sent back with me. Or sent back with the firearm. So let's discuss what I found when I got the firearm back. Okay. Now, when I got the firearm back, obviously the first thing that I did was inspect the firearm. And what I found, and I will insert some pictures. First off, what I found. The rear sight was, this is actually repaired, and I'll discuss how well, it's not 100% repaired, but it's adjusted, I think, enough to where I can utilize it, because I'm not going to send it back again. I'm not going to go through that again. But the pictures I'm going to put in here will show you how the rear sight was still canted after I got it back. And I read to you the paperwork. It was plural in sights fixed, canted sights fixed. This was not fixed. This was still as canted as it was the day I sent it off. What I did to fix it because I'm not sending it back, was I removed the rear leaf sight, and I filed down the insides of this cradle here. That hold the sight in place. And then I filed down the inside of these two eyes right here. And then I filed down some more material on the front. And that's got it in a position where it is now. Now it's still canted. You can kind of see where the point of aim's going off to there. It's a little canted still. I may continue to work on it. I may just go ahead and purchase an RPD rear sight and be done with it. I'm certainly not sending it back to Century. It's a waste of my time. It does in fact look like they replaced the entire gas tube assembly, because now it's mounted straight and correctly. Before it was coming off of the right side, it was canted off, and it didn't line up with any of this mechanism right here. So they obviously replaced this front gas tube. And the front sight post, well actually the front sight itself, has been straightened out. So I am happy with that. That is a definite step in the right direction there. They did fix the front sight. It is no longer canted. And it looks like they re-drilled it and put larger pins in there too. But they definitely fixed the front sight. They replaced the gas tube. The only thing that it looks like they failed to address was the rear sight. So I can either take out some more material, because as you can see, it is still canted this way, just a little bit. So I'm thinking if I take off just a little more material off of this piece right here, it should bring it over just a hair to be straight. Now I'm not going to remove any more material until I take it to the range and see how it zeroes. I'm going to go ahead and disassemble it, and then we'll discuss some of the interior and what I found and what I saw when I broke it down and looked a little deeper. Alright, now when I got the rifle back, I told you I did a good inspection of the rifle. Now, I must have missed this previously, or this is a different bolt. I don't know which is the right answer. I'm going to say that this was my original bolt, and I overlooked this due to the other things that were problematic with this rifle. Let me take the bolt out of the bolt carrier. Now I have this all greased up, ready to go to the range and zero it. So, give me one moment, let me clean this. Alright, here we are. Now we're going to discuss the bolt carrier. Now, this is not the condition in which I received it back from repair. I've since tried to polish this out and get rid of the rough, shitty machining that was done in there. But I'm going to put some pictures in here. I'm going to insert some photos that I took prior to grinding this down, and trying to polish that out so you can see how rough the condition was of this bolt carrier. And you can still see some machining lines here, and you can actually look in here and still see how bad this is. So I'm going to put those pictures in, and then we'll discuss it. Alright, so what I did was I took my Dremel and I polished this out to try to get rid of all the ridges that were in there, because this was bad. You can actually see it in there. You can still see some of the ridges, but it's a lot smoother than what it was. And I'm going to take it to the range and see how it functions, and then maybe I'll clean it up a little more. But I took a little bit of material out of here to try to clean it up. I didn't want that to be an issue at some point. So the quality of this bolt machining, subpar, absolutely horrible. But again, I'm not sending it back. I'm not going through that entire process again. I'm going to polish this out. If it functions, if it's reliable, I'm just going to leave it at that, and it'll work itself out, and I'll just keep an eye on it. but I just wanted to bring it to your attention so you could check it out. So it's an additional part that you can inspect if you're going to get one of these rifles. I don't know if mine was just a complete Thursday build leading up to a 3-day weekend, or if this is the type of product they're turning out at this point. Inside the rifle, everything looks fine. Nothing jumps out at me as anything that I should be concerned about. I have it all greased up, ready to go to the range, so that's why it's looking the way it does. So, my repair from Century, again, front sight was addressed. Looks like it was done correctly. It looks good. Gas tube replaced. So I'm assuming, and I won't know until I get to the range, that this mechanism here, the gas adjustment, is going to work. The bolt carrier, a little rough, machining's subpar, but we're going to go ahead and see how it functions. And the bolt itself, there's really nothing there to speak about right now until we fire it a little bit and see what we get from it. So that's my update on my M90. If you're interested in ordering one of these rifles, I would probably use a little caution at this point. You know, I don't know if it's this particular line of rifles that are lacking a QC, or if it was just the one I got. But I'll do another video, another follow-up video after this with a range report, and we'll go from there.